Hello and welcome to my P12S Part 1 Athena guide. On the Soul is an AoE that will restore the platform if damaged. Paradigma 1 spawns in sets of adds that will cleave the two closest people while also casting Trinity of Soul starting from her bottom wings. The glowing wing indicates which side she's cleaving, and when she starts from the bottom wing it means she will turn 180 degrees after every wing cleave. We line up Light Party 1 for the first beams and then swap with Light Party 2 for the second beams, while also dodging the wings at the same time. For Paradigma 2, 4 players will get tethered, which they can just drag across the boss like shown. It will always be 2 light and 2 dark tethers, leaving a color debuff on the player. Meanwhile, the other 4 people will leave a colored tower on the floor indicated by their debuff. The tethered people who get the color debuff will have to stand in the opposite tower afterwards. The easiest way to do this without any communication in my opinion was putting the dark towers always north and the light towers always south, and then just let the tethered people find the tower they have to soak. After the towers, 2 adds in the north, who will never be next to each other so there will always be space between them, will beam the arena, so make sure to not get hit by them. Glaucopsis is a tank buster that will be either swapped or inbound. Superchain Theory 1 is a hard mechanic that lays down ground rules for later mechanics, so let's look at this a little more in depth. First of all, let's look at shapes. The donut is a donut, the ball is a point blank AoE, star means 8-man spread, and the plus shape is a 4x2 partner stack. Those symbols will get chained to a quote-unquote solver, and if they hit the solver, the mechanic goes off. When Superchain Theory 1 starts, look for the first solver. It's either gonna be out or in, paired with either stack or spread. Now find the next donut AoE. It's always gonna be either clockwise or counterclockwise from the starting spot. During the second donut, colored beams will go off on players with this debuff that has to be shared with people from the opposite color. Looking at the boss, we put the white beam left and the black beam right. The rolls that have the beam will also take and place another tower at the end of this mechanic, while the opposite roll will have to spread, indicated by this debuff. So after the beams go off, you keep moving into the same direction and the last solver will either be in, then out, or out, then in. Place the towers left or right, depending on your previous position. And for spreads, we have melees run through the boss and ranges go into the corner. It should look something like this. Another Trinity of Souls. If her wings start glowing from the top, it means she will not turn every time and it will be the same as normal mode. So here we swap, and then we swap again. Next up is a tank buster / group soak. If the cast bar is called Apodialogos, you have the party under the boss and the tanks out. For Peridialogos, you have to do the opposite, group out, tanks in. For Paradigma 3, we line up supports and DPS like shown. The boss will chain the floor in alternating pattern, leaving only 4 platforms to stand on. 2 supports will get an X or a plus debuff and bring them to the northmost and southmost platform. The remaining 2 supports can go left and right depending on how they stand. Every support has to soak a tower on their platform. The DPS will get tethered by an ad outside the arena and drag their tether opposite. There is 2 potential spots for the DPS to stand on, either inwards or outwards. If you can beam your ad straight forward, you can do it and take the inner spot. If you can't, then you'll take the spot towards the outside. X and plus position their debuffs in those 2 corners, while the other 2 supports leave towers for the DPS to take. The 2 towers will always have the same color, either black or white. So if you have a dark tower, and you are on a platform with the 2 dark tethers, you will have to bring your tower dead center for a DPS of the opposite side to reach. If you are a DPS that will not take a tower, your job is rather simple. Position yourself like this, and help bait the other ad beams with the plus and X supports. Here's how it looks in game. Plus and X move, and the other 2 supports split up left and right. Everyone soaks a tower and DPS pre-position. In our case we have dark towers, and I am on the platform with 2 light tethers. So I am going to place my tower on the platform, and my other support is going to place it dead center. The DPS will soak the towers, and then the boss will cast On the Soul to restore the platform. After another tank buster, we interlude the limit cut phase of the fight. Everyone will get a number over their head, 1 to 8, and the boss jumps to a random corner. 1 and 3 go opposite of the boss, 2 and 4 go a bit clockwise from her to avoid getting hit by the first dash, the other blues go left, and the red numbers go right. Once she jumps, 2 and 4 will rush in and get to the spot where she started from. Getting jumped on by the boss does shared damage, so you always need to be stacked together, and you will drop a puddle. If you drop a puddle, go clockwise until you reach the end of your first puddle to bait the next one. Meanwhile, yellow/purple ads in the middle will spawn, and the yellow ones are important, the purple ones can mostly be ignored. They spawn in random orders though, so just keep an eye on the yellow ones. The yellow ones will beam the 2 closest players. 5 and 7 get beamed first, then 6 and 8 second. Once 1 and 3 got jumped on twice, they will swap places with 5 and 7. 5 and 7 will now continue getting jumped on, and 1 and 3 will stand in for the next beam baits. 2 and 4 do the same. They swap with 6 and 8 and get the last beam. Afterwards, everyone goes to A to not stand on the broken floors. Here the boss will cast a really heavy hitting AoE starting the last phase of the fight. Super Chain Theory 2A will be solvers paired with the wings from before. You will always play this mechanic really close to the center line. The first solver will always be pairs, always. The second solver will always be a donut in the middle, and the last solver can either be on the opposite side where you started or the same side that you started on, and it's either a spread or a stack. You will have to watch your wings to know if you have to swap or stay during the mechanic. Here we start opposite of her glowing wing and do partner stacks. Then the second wing is on the same side, so we have to swap after the first cleave, and then we can stay from the last one. We start on A, do partner stacks, go to middle for the donut, and keep moving to C, where a spread is waiting for us. Another party in or party out tank buster and AoE, so keep the party alive and heal through it. Super Chain Theory 2B is way simpler than A. You start with finding the donut, it's either on A or C, and the boss will cast Parthenos, cleaving through the middle. The second solver will always be east or west and can be spread or partner stacked. There's gonna be ad beaming from the north after that, and the last solver is gonna be out and spread always from A or C. So we go to the donut, we do partner stacks on B and wait for the boss to cleave the center. Look at the ad cleaves, dodge them. After the ad cleaves, go to either A or C and spread out. The boss will chain every platform except for one, which will be the safe spot, and will proceed casting AoEs until enrage. Thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful to at least some of you. I tried to do like a different approach this time, showing animations mostly through Raidplans, and I left the Raidplans that I used to explain those mechanics in the description box below, as I am sure this will help and improve your party finder experience. Let me know what you think of it, and what fight you're currently struggling with the most for me to make a guide for. Thank you so much for watching, and have fun raiding.